to Dripping Billies. AOA Podcast Wednesday episode. Let's get over that hump together. Look at this full slate. Don't know where I'm pointing. Been doing this for 25 years. Still can't get the pointing down. Look at this full slate of topics for a Wednesday episode. Oh my goodness. Myself, a lot of people included, criticized Tulsi Gabbard for those big accusations she made a couple of weeks ago over the documents that were being released. Well, I'll tell you what, we finally got the documents. We looked at them. She's got a point. Pam Bondi has launched a grand jury investigation. We'll share all the details that we have for you at the moment. The Clintons have been subpoenaed over Jeffrey Epstein. And speaking of Epstein, the current administration had a little meeting set that they had to cancel, which the vice president has denied even took place, but we have some sources that say otherwise. Speaking of sources, a lot of talk over Howard Stern and his contract status, so we'll clear up some of the air on that. And Dave Matthews himself, the saint that he is, breaks up a fight in the middle of a show. Unbelievable. The man is just a treasure. He's a saint. And this is a podcast. Dripping Billies. How's everybody doing on that Wednesday? Let's get the comments up on the screen. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Love the friendliness. Love it, 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 love it. Okay, so I had to read a lot, which is not easy for your old pal Ant. You know this. Over these documents that were released by Tulsi Gabbard, but I did it and I went through it all, and I'm going to share with you what I learned. I could pop them up on the screen. Does that really make a difference? I don't really think it does. All of this, by the way, came from odni.gov, odni.gov. So you don't have to believe your old pal Amp, but you can go to odni.gov. And Tulsi Gabbard put all the documents out there for everybody to see. So you can go to odni.gov to take a look at it. And there's where you'll see all the information regarding the Obama administration, which is now going to be under grand jury investigation because of Pam Bondi. Let me say at the outset of this that although there might be something there to look at, I still believe this is an utter distraction from the Epstein debacle that this current administration is in. That's not to take the Obama people off of the hook or anything like that. I just think the timing is awfully curious. And I think that this was literally put in place to distract us from what's going on with the Epstein situation. But as you can see your old pal Ant doing here on this episode, we're still talking about the Epstein thing. So it's not working, but some laws may have been broken, and it is from a presidential administration. So it does need to be discussed. A lot of this revolves around a whistleblower. So let me go through some of the main points that I gathered from reading all the documents that Tulsi Gabbard released regarding the Russia collusion thing with the Obama administration. Feel free to dispute these all if you'd like, but this is what was in the documents. I'm just going to tell you what was actually in all of the documents. Okay. So, leading up to the 2016 election, the U.S. intelligence officials repeatedly said Russia was not trying to hack the vote counts or flip the election. FBI analysts and others warned against overstating Russian intent. They asked for the language to be softened, but post-election, those warnings vanished. And in the 2017 intelligence community assessment, they claimed that Russia acted to help Trump win. A whistleblower was pressured to fall in line. A top intel analyst on the 2016 Russia ICA says he was pressured to change his analysis after the election. His bosses told him point blank they needed his agreement so the Defense Intelligence Agency would go along with the Trump benefited from Russia narrative. He refused, and then he was cut off from briefings and removed from email chains. The Steele dossier was involved but covered up. Turns out the discredited Clinton-funded Steele dossier was used in the 2017 ICA, again, the Intelligence Community Assessment. The whistleblower says he was never told it was part of the assessment and was even misled when he asked. Years later, Freedom of Information Act request confirmed it was a factor, contradicting earlier claims by intelligence leaders. Leaked narratives trumped real intelligence. Right after the election, intelligence community officials were leaking to the media, telling the Washington Post Russia helped Trump win. The problem is the actual intel didn't say that. And even an official classified PDB stating Russia did not impact the election and was killed at the last minute. The PDB presidential briefing, daily briefing, was never published. On December 9th, 2016, the White House gathered top officials. The result, President Obama tasked intel agencies with producing a new ICA. This ICA, released just before Trump took office, claimed with high confidence that Putin helped Trump win. What was the new information that supported that claim? The Steele dossier, which we now know was completely discredited. So if you look at everything that Tulsi Gabbard did put together, there is definitely reason enough to investigate what happened back in 2016. Do I think Obama had anything to do with this? No. And I'll go to my grave believing that, and I'll tell you why. It goes back to what I said last episode. I don't think he ever liked Hillary Clinton. I think he took her on in his primary. I think he beat her. I think they made a deal for her to sit and wait, be the Secretary of State during his 8 years, and then he would get out of her way and let her have her day. The deal was he was to make her Secretary of State for her getting out of the way. I believe this. I have no evidence to support this other than what people have said and sources and all that garbage. But that's what I believe. I believe they made that deal. They had a meeting. We know they had a meeting. I believe that they made a deal during that meeting. And I don't think he ever really liked Clinton. I don't think he ever liked Bill. I don't think that they socialize or hang out once he was president. What benefit does he have to help her or slam Trump? I know he's a party guy. I get that. But as we saw with how he handled the whole Biden thing, he likes to kind of just, if it's not his fight, he just kind of steps aside. You know, he was already done. He gains nothing. What is he going to do? Help his party? What does he give a shit? It's over. He's out. I don't think it was him. Other people in the party might have something to do with this. Was it Comey? Was it Clapper? I don't really know. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But I do care from a standpoint of this is wrong and it should be prosecuted, regardless of what side of politics you find yourself on. You don't want to set any administration behind the 8-ball. Call me naive and stupid and dreamy and whatever, but even when an administration comes in that I don't really love or voted for or whatever, I'm still rooting for them because I live in the country. And I think we've lost that common sense a little bit. So do I think this should be investigated? Absolutely, I do. Do I think that the timing is suspect and this is all meant to block us from thinking about the Epstein files? Yes. Yes. Both can be true. Both very much yes. So that's where we stand on the Tulsi Gabbard situation. It's worth looking into. It's worth finding out who gave the order besides the Rosado brothers, because we know that wasn't, could have been them acting alone. And we got to just find out. You got to know what is going on. You can't. Our government. Lying gets complicated with our government. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's not necessary. And in this instance, I think it's not necessary. And for all my Democrat friends out there that never want to take an L, just let this play out. Find out who did it. Because if there was somebody in there that was doing it, that was acting alone, or 2 or 3 people that got together that said, hey, let's trip up Trump before he gets into office and screw him up and see if we can get him out, or whatever they think they were doing, those people need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And this ends. No, there's no 2 ways about it. You got to go after those people. You can't have that kind of shit going on. You just can't. And by the way, even if it was Obama, he'd get off the hook because of what Trump made the Supreme Court do. So case closed over there. All right, now let's play Russian roulette with your old pal Lance Life. Let's risk a life here. The Clintons were subpoenaed. This also went out. We told you the other day that the subpoenas were approved, but James Comer had to actually issue them, and he did do just that. So Hillary Clinton has been scheduled for October 9th and Bill Clinton for October 14th. The depositions on these issues will start in August with Bill Barr. The committee also subpoenaed Department of Justice for Epstein-related files and depositions from former law enforcement and officials, including FBI directors and attorneys general. So, like I said, Bill Barr goes in, I think, August 19th or 18th or something like that. And then the rest will follow shortly after that, going all the way into October with the Clintons. So they'll parade this around and drag this on. I don't know what they're going to find out from all this information, but I do know that lying to Congress is a crime, right? So you got to get somebody in there and see if you can get them to slip up with the questioning and then nail them on that if you can't nail them on what they actually did, which was like appear on Epstein's plane 27 times, allegedly, which the former president, Clinton, has denied doing that. He's denied being a part of that. However, as we know, Virginia Giuffre wrote in an unpublished manuscript that she did, in fact, see Bill Clinton on the island with two women. Michael, forget what his name is. He makes up a lot of lies. I don't like to talk about him too much because he has been pretty controversial of writing all these. Wolf, he writes all these books. He can never really prove anything. He said he saw a picture of Clinton, or no, he said he saw a picture of Trump on the island with two girls. So again, lots of hearsay around all of this. I don't know. What I do know is we do know that Clinton was on the plane with him a bunch of times. They took that Africa trip. There is photographic evidence of him getting massages from young women, clothes on in public in airports, shit like that. 27, 23 times, whatever the hell it was, he was there. He invited Ghislaine Maxwell to his daughter's wedding in 2010, well after all of this stuff had gone down. I mean, there's the evidence against the Clintons is ridiculous. The fact that he caught a BJ from an intern in the White House himself, it just tells you the guy's got no scruples or morals. I mean, I've long been outspoken against Bill Clinton. I wish that the Democratic Party would have abandoned him a long time ago. The fact that Prince Andrew got lambasted and all this, and Clinton's like, hey, come speak in the Democratic, it's just, it's disgusting and it's fucking awful. And the Democrats never, for all their high and mightiness and all their holier than thou attitude with everything and their morals and their political correctness, they just let Bill Clinton skirt and never held him accountable for any of this stuff. It's the height of hypocrisy. It's really the height of hypocrisy. So I'll be watching that day to see what happens. Again, I can't help but think that this is all just a masquerade or a show. I think the most important part of this is that they are asking for the documents. I think that's the biggest thing in all of this. Like, get all the evidence. They're sitting on a pile of evidence. For everybody that wants to argue semantics over, is there a list? Is there not a list? Is there this or that? It doesn't matter. We know there's documents. We know there's photographs. We know there's video footage from his townhome. There's hard drives. We know there's all this stuff, and it's just sitting there, and we're to take Kash Patel's word for it? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. We're actually watching our government work here, where one branch doesn't trust the other and is going to question them and do some oversight. That's the way it should be done. That's the way it should be done. However, if Comer winds up dead in the middle of this process, then we are never going to talk about this ever. If one person associated with this winds up dead, we're going to stop talking about this immediately. Immediately. Paul says, Aunt, your crush on Tulsi says aliens are real. Did Tulsi say that aliens are real? I believe Tulsi. I believe whatever she says. She looks far too good in a pantsuit, in a blazer outfit to be questioning her well intentions. Listen, I think I've been pretty fair with Tulsi Gabbard. I criticized her for putting out that stupid infographic. She went on Hannity. I waited for her to explain more there. She didn't. It was a lot of fluff until I saw the documents for myself. And again, they're on that odni.gov. I'll pop it up on the screen for everybody. I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want to show you that it's real. Bloop. There it is. Directors Initiatives Group, DIG. I don't know why we need to abbreviate fucking everything. But there it is. There's the 3 documents. There's the memo, the report, and the whistleblower records. It's all right there. You click on them, you download them, you get them, and they lay it all out for you. It's basically, there's a timeline. The documents are all there. A lot of it is redacted out, but you can go through and read the entire thing. One of them was 114 pages. I basically dedicated most of my day to this crap. So I hope you can appreciate that a little bit. I mean, she's got something. She's got something there. You know, here, let me pop this up for everybody so they can see. Here's one of the documents. A lot of retractions. Shit looks like Brick Breaker. Look at this. Doesn't that look like Brick Breaker? Feel like boo, boo, boo. Get that little. I fucking love Brick Breaker. Oh my god, those were good times. We didn't know how good we had it with the BlackBerry and the Brick Break. The BlackBerry and the Brick Breaker. That shit's the best. That shit is the best. Thank you, Bird. Robin says Bird's a fraud. That's hurtful. I think that was actually meant for Tulsi Gabbard. I'm just trying to start shit. Ignore me. Do you think Tulsi Gabbard's full of shit? I would love to know. I honestly, outside of her looking dynamite in a blazer, I have not really looked into Tulsi Gabbard a lot. I know she's gotten into some hot water. I thought it was awfully weird how she was against Trump on the whole nuclear weapon thing in Iran and how she wasn't kind of there. And again, she seems to be a darling of the independents, and as an independent myself, I fully admit I don't know too much about her. I don't really spend much time reading about her as much as I spend watching her videos on mute. Stop it. But if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm all ears. Robin. Rhonda, bless your heart. No gel in the hair today. I had a medical procedure earlier today. That did not go my way. I was really pissed off, but I'm fine. I'm not dying. I was just supposed to get something tested, and then it went sideways, and now I got to go back and fucking do it again. And this is the second time I've gone to do it after the fucking insurance company screwed me over. But I digress. That's besides the point. We all have bad days. Just so you know, your old pal Ant's having one too, and the hair reflects that. You can see how gray. Here's what I noticed. Okay, here's a little cheat. I don't know if you can see up here, but we have what we call a hair light. And so that I put on this like golden color, because I don't know if you can see. So it kind of like separates me from the background. It's an old video trick. But I went with the gold color instead of the white color because when it's like the cold white, it illuminates all the grays in my hair. But when it's the warm white, which is like the yellow goldish color, it kind of puts a more brown look in my hair. So fucking old. It's disgusting. I am so fucking old. It is disgusting. It's disgusting. Anyway, where I did kind of get cucked today. It was a bit of a Christella says she's a Russian asset. Oh, a Rusky asset. A Rusky asset. That's not easy to say. Now, Christella, are you talking about Bird or is that Tulsi? Let's say who are, because Bird says a lot of things and then everybody comments right after her. So I don't know what they're talking about. That could be an attack on Bird. I'm not entirely sure. Robin clarifies Bird is not a fraud. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think Bird was. I wasn't thinking that. Okay. Let's see. What else could we is there anything else we got to cover on this one here? Oh, I was going up Brick Breaker. Oh yeah, but here you go. Here, read quickly. Here. Have ChatGPT scan this. There, look at this. Look at all the fucking. Here, look at this one. Here, look at this redaction. Now, I want you to kind of like cross your eyes and let me know what you see. I see Steve Harvey. It's amazing. It's like that hamburger meme that pops up everywhere on social media. How'd they get that hamburger to look like Steve Harvey? I don't get it. But now the redactions are starting to look like him too. So yeah, there you go. Don't follow these redactions, because if you look into these, it'll tell you where the Clintons have buried all the bodies. All right, stop. We're really going to get your old pal Ann killed. We are really in a lot of trouble. J Sabs is doing well. She went to Montauk over the weekend for her birthday. I've yet to hear about how good that trip was. It looks like they had a good time. We're going through like quite a little controversy here in the Hamptons, because the Montauk has been like overrun by influencers and annoying people, and everybody keeps saying how miserable it is out there. And so I was shocked that J Sabs wanted to go there for her birthday. But it looks like, I saw some pictures she sent me. It looks like she had a nice time. But I'm really like, all right, you're all going to get me in trouble now. See what happens? I try and have a little fun. Okay. If you search Montauk right now, all right, if we search Montauk and we go to news, again, J Sabs was there this weekend. What do you see in these search results? Woman found, body of woman found, identified. Okay, so there's a dead body. So J Sabs goes to Montauk. Now all of a sudden there's a dead body. I'm not saying those two are related. Let me repeat this. I'm not saying the two things are related. I'm just saying I'm not sure if they're unrelated. If you put me on a stand right now and you're like, did J Sabs kill somebody in the Hamptons over the weekend? I can't testify that she didn't. I don't know. I wasn't with her. All I know is you put a salad in her hand in a store and she's going to walk out without paying for it. Okay. That's all I know. And that's what I'm going to tell the authorities when they ask me. But capable of murder? Her husband, yes. Strangers, I'm not so sure. I want to say no, but I can't be certain, because I would have also guessed that she would be paying for salads. So it just goes to show you never really know people. You just never really know. You never know. But are they hot homeless? Yeah, well, it was a young girl. If it was an old homeless man, then he would have been taken care of. The story would have been homeless man caught smiling on boat in Hampton's community with a sticky situation in his pants. If that felt wrong, did you hear me pause? I didn't have to say the second part, and I did it anyway, and now I'm regretting it. I blame you guys, though. You're a bad influence on me. Okay. So we know that the Trump administration is just handling the Epstein thing just horribly, just poorly. And so they put together an idea that they were going to go over to JD Vance's house and have a meeting, and then it leaked to the press. And now JD Vance is out there saying that that's a fake news story, that they were never planning on having a meeting. No, I think it's very, very plausible that they were planning on having some sort of triage meeting on how do we reverse the last 4 weeks of this administration, because whatever you think of this administration or not, this administration thinks that they are doing a stellar job. And like I've said before, I don't know if you want to, I'm not here to argue about the merits of what they're doing, just based on pure volume of what they're doing a lot. Maybe not well, but they're doing a lot. Maybe some of you think they're doing a lot of good. Fine. I don't care. Whatever you think is fine with me. I'm not here to change your mind and get in the way of those arguments. But they're doing a lot. And I think that they're finally coming to terms with nobody seems to give a shit anymore because of the way that they're handling the Epstein stuff. And so this idea that they're going to like take a step back and try and get together and figure that out, I think is more than plausible. And I think it's even more plausible when they say, oh, it's a fake story, because they have to cancel it, because now they can't have all these White House officials showing up at Vance's house, to talk about it, So, look, see, Miss Justice puts it out there. You leave a fastball hanging over the plate, she's going to knock it over the fence. It's quality, not quantity. Not arguing. Certainly a good argument to make, But again, they're doing a lot. Maybe they're doing a lot poorly in your eyes. And I'm totally okay with that. I do not agree with everything that they're doing. I'm trying to be positive. I don't agree with everything they're doing. But Oh, by the way, he did negotiate another $100 billion from Apple or something today. I didn't have a chance to read too much into that because I was knee deep in the Obama stuff. But I did see they're doing some things well, not everything. I get it, but they're working. They're working. But again, it goes back. I'm just trying to make the point. Nobody cares because of the piss poor way Donald Trump has handled the Epstein situation. And a couple little things to clean up on this, just besides the fact that they canceled this meetup because a source told ABC that it was happening. Again, I don't know who to believe, but if you're asking me, I'm going with the source over the vice president in this particular case. I believe that they were trying to put together something. I think that this is exactly what they do need, is to figure out a way how to handle this. The thing is I don't know if they can recover from it, because even if they go full force ahead with, all right, we're going to put everything out for you guys anyway, it still came after 3 weeks of trying to stop this process. And then let's not forget the Blanche Maxwell meeting, which was completely unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. And by the way, on that, a source is telling, I forget who first, ABC maybe, or I'll find it, that in the meeting between Ghislaine Maxwell and Todd Blanche, Ghislaine Maxwell said that she never saw Donald Trump do anything around her. Basically, writing, saying he's off the hook. That's according to a source familiar with the situation. I don't know who the source is or who would even leak that or how or why or what. Again, I tend to not believe this or tend to think it's coming from one side or the other to kind of put it out there, because I don't even know how that would be reacted to. If I say, hey, a source said Donald Trump wasn't involved, one side is going to go, see, told you, he's clean. And the other side is going to go, they expect us to believe that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know who would have leaked it to put their side forward, because I think it would have caused backlash either way. But a source is saying that Ghislaine Maxwell basically got Trump off the hook, said he never did anything, terrible around her. So take that to mean whatever it means. I don't even know. I do know that the president was on CNN today and denied having any knowledge of her being moved. Really? Your assistant attorney general goes down to question somebody who didn't need to be questioned, and then a week later she's transferred to a prison camp into a more cushy position, and you didn't know? Give me a fucking break. And then the other thing that they are debating right now is, should we release the transcript of the conversation between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell? What the fuck? Yes. Why is that a debate? And let me say this so that everybody in the back at the FBI can hear me. The raw tape, the unedited tape, because you fucked that up once already, and I would hope you wouldn't do it again. They should have hit record. First of all, that shit should have been fucking live streamed, okay? If you want transparency. But yes, that tape should be put out there. I know we want to keep victims safe. I know it's unfortunate to have innocent individuals get dragged into this, but I am sorry. Sometimes things reach a point where, fuck, that's really good. That, how could you keep talking when that good line is out there and wants it raw? I did kind of a convoluted way to recap what just happened, but that is accurate. That is accurate. I also like Miss Justice pointing some fingers out there. Some of you have not hit the like button yet on YouTube and or Facebook. So get on that. Algo, baby. You got to help us with the algorithm. Because I don't know if you noticed this, but we are getting punished for a lot of the things we are doing. We put out a clip the other day of Trump on the roof, and one of our videos got 4 likes and 1 view. How does that happen? How does that happen? Don't tell me shadow banning isn't real. Like, that shit is for real. Now, granted, we used copyright material. I maintain that we were spoofing it and we're allowed to do such. But it's hard to fight these internet bots that are out there. We're just a tiny little show. We don't have the means to do that. Like, for instance, YouTube let it fly. You can watch it on YouTube, our YouTube shorts out there, but we can't monetize that, which is more than fair. I don't expect to make money off of a spoof that we're using somebody else's material on. That's I agree with that. But all the other networks shadow banned us for it. And now, like, we go from putting out like little videos on TikTok getting, 10,000 views, 1,000 views, 500 views on some, but some we do really well. Now all of a sudden we have 47 views on a fucking video. Like, don't tell me shadow banning is not real. So yeah, hit that like button, hit the share button, throw it on your profile page, throw it on your Twitter, put it wherever you can, your Instagram stories, help us get the word out there because we're definitely getting suffocated by the algorithms. So appreciate that. Thank you, Miss Justice, for always being a good general, always staying on top of everybody. I love it. Where are we going with this? The Vance meeting. Oh, they're recording Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell. Release it. Why? What's the debate? Put it out immediately. Unfettered. No, no, nothing. Again, I feel horrible even talking about this because I feel like she shouldn't be trusted anyway. We shouldn't even be considering this crap. But if there was a conversation that happened, we should be privy to it. It shouldn't be. We can't trust Todd Blanche, our current administration, any of the former administrations, anything. Everything needs to be double checked in this world today. And I think that needs to be double checked too. There should be no debate about it. And also the president just continues to get caught up in lies. I didn't know she was transferred. The fuck? Are you kidding me? You had no idea? You're telling me your assistant attorney general brokered a deal to get her moved and didn't notify the president that it was going to happen? If I was the president of the United States, my head would have fucking hit the ceiling. First of all, I would have been like, why was she even moved, period? And now all of a sudden, and then you're not going to, I got to read about it like everybody else. That's insane. It's fucking insane. And then don't tell me it was just coincidence that prisoners get moved all the time. Bullshit. There was zero. I know prisoners get moved all the time, but there was zero plans to move her. She is a violent criminal serving a 20-year sentence. Okay, we were skeptical at the time that she went to a minimum security prison, let alone a prison camp, which, by the way, if you want to laugh, they've had to up the security at the prison camp. They've had to bring in more people and put in some more things because now people are like, they're like, oh, well, if she can get out, then we can get into her. So that whole thing is blowing up back in their fucking face. Again, I don't know if we've ever seen a presidential administration handle something so fucking poorly. Maybe the Bay of Pigs. I mean, this is probably the worst since the Bay of Pigs. And this has just tripped up this entire administration. And until he fucking comes clean, tells us who's pulling the strings, he's always going to have this weighing down on his presidency. It's just always going to be there. All right. My good buddy, Howard Stern. So this came out from The Sun yesterday, and I'll give you a couple of little tidbits of insight and information here. First, I do want to say Howard has always been super nice to me and very, very gracious. I consider us acquaintances, and he probably considers us nothing. But I have spoken to the man. He did come to visit me when I was on the air in New York. We've shared, messages back and forth to each other. He's quite lovely. I'm very, very fond of him. The Sun comes out with this piece yesterday, and I got to watch this firestorm happen. By the way, so I do have a photo. Howard came over. I never really tell this story, but he came over and he photographed me in the radio studio and he gave me the frame and he signed the back of it. It's very, very nice. One day, if you guys bother me enough, I will show it. It's around here somewhere. I might even be on the other side of the room. I don't even know. I always meant to hang it, but I never felt comfortable hanging. I hate the photo of me. He did a wonderful job taking the picture. It's the face that's the problem. So I never wanted to put it up, but I always kept it because he did a nice little thing on the back, and I always treasured it, and I always treasured our time together because we spent a few days together. And anyway, I got to see this whole shitstorm unfold in front of me, and I just find it very strange and bizarre. So the Sun comes out with a report that a source with knowledge of the situation told them that Howard Stern's show is going to be canceled because they can't come to an agreement on a new contract, and his contract is up at the end of the year. He's currently off for the summer. There's a couple of suspect things there for me. One, when you're dealing with international affairs and the presidency and serious matters, real sources can exist. When you're dealing with entertainer contracts or athletes contracts, sources say that he's not going to re-sign with the team and blah, blah, blah. That either comes from the agent or the team. That's it. There are no other sources. Again, I worked for the New York Islanders for a number of years. I saw several sources talk to reporters. Okay. It's either the team or the agent. Okay. So sources close to the matter are telling us that Howard Stern's contract is not going to be renewed, is either coming from Howard Stern's camp, his agent, or it's coming from SiriusXM. There's no rogue source out there that happened to stumble upon this bit of information. So that's the first thing. The story and the source said that the show is likely to be canceled if they can't come to an agreement, which it doesn't look like they're able to do. That is a far cry from SiriusXM is canceling the Howard Stern show. There's a difference between how those two statements are worded. And yet, even though the Sun worded this story very, very carefully, if you Google Howard Stern right now and you look at a lot of outlets, a lot of legitimate outlets, they all say Howard Stern show canceled. That's not the case. That's not what's happening. I don't have a dog in this race. Again, I'm very fond of Howard. He did wonders for me in my career, and I will always forever be grateful to him. But if I have to shit on him, I will. And I just don't find it necessary in this particular situation. I think it's really unfair that this is being categorized as his show is being canceled. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what the other suspect thing in here is that really, really fucking pisses me off. Because there's all this conjecture going around about Stephen Colbert because he's anti-Trump and everything else, that Trump got him canceled. On the same Sun story and cited by every other article that ran with this, they go, well, he was very critical of the president. And he said that anybody who voted for the president, he didn't want to have listened to his show. And now look, he's getting his comeuppance. It's just like this stuff is out of control. It could be farther from the truth. The reality of the situation is either Howard is retiring and wants to kind of put this out there, which I don't think that's the case. Howard wants an extension, wants to put this out there to light a fire under people that hopefully there'll be enough of an outcry that'll force SiriusXM to come to the table with the money he wants. That is certainly plausible. Or SiriusXM is sitting there debating on whether or not they want to unload the Brinks truck on Stern again to have him continue to go. And this is just gauging what their subscribers are going to do. Because if I own a business, and again, I was in media for a long time. I've done a lot of negotiations. I never made as much as Stern. I don't want to claim that, but this is how these shitty people act. They go, they sit there in the room and they go, can we survive without Stern? And that question is answered by, can we keep a majority of his audience happy here, continuing to pay and not have to pay him? Because they're paying him around $100 million a year. And that's not just all going to him. He has to pay his whole entire staff, which, again, here's a bit of honesty for you, for the guy who's been super nice to me that I probably shouldn't say. He's got an overly bloated staff. Guy's got 100 some people working for him. That's just, it's not, the late night talk shows, Stern having 150 people working for him, the economics of these shows don't exist anymore because of podcasting and the internet. Because of influencers, not just podcasting, but influencers, because money and attention are going towards other avenues now. These old shows can't sustain their old economics. You can't pay 30 writers anymore for a show. It's not possible anymore. So they're paying him $100 million a year. They're thinking, well, if we get rid of him, we're going to save $100 million. And can we keep enough of his audience so that it doesn't kill us? Let's put a source out. Let's put a story out. Sources familiar say they're thinking about canceling. Let's see what people say. Let's see how many emails we get. Let's see how many notes we get, how many complaints we get. Companies do this shit all the time. The Dallas Cowboys are doing it right now with one of their players. They do it all the time. Let something leak. Let's test it out and see, and let's see where it goes. Because I guarantee you, the source came from nowhere else but either Stern's camp or SiriusXM's camp. And if it came from SiriusXM's camp, they're trying to gauge the audience and see how many people are going to call up and say they're going to cancel versus how much they can save by not paying him. And that's it. That's all it comes down to. It has nothing to do with politics and Trump, has nothing to do with any of that, And I honestly believe, I really believe that Howard Stern would continue to do that show on SiriusXM. He had the chance to leave and go to Spotify years ago. He didn't take it. He could have set up his own shop and kept more of the profits for what he does. And he didn't do that. Now, I know personally, him and I did have a conversation. I'm not going to reveal what it was about, but I know ownership is not his thing. He likes to work for a company. He likes to do a show. He doesn't want to own a radio podcast or a show, whatever you want to call it. He wants to get money and do a show. So I think that's why he's always kind of stuck it out with SiriusXM. And again, from knowing the business and knowing a lot of people that work at SiriusXM, they have been slashing prices over there like crazy. They threw a ton of money at Caller Daddy, but since then, they've lost a ton of talent and personalities. They've asked other personalities to double down and do more shows for the same amount of money. And that's radio. That's par for the course. When I was doing radio, I would do my show and then I had to record commercials. Then I had to go to this fucking place to do a tap dance for those people. That's part of the gimmick. That's part of the game in radio today. And it went from local radio being that way to now, a national entity like SiriusXM. That's just kind of the way it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to get Stern to just take less money to stay. In my heart of hearts, with the economics of the situation, Howard Stern carries, I would say, anywhere from 65 to 80% of that entire company's audience. You don't fuck around with somebody like that. And I know Caller Daddy does really well. She's massive. She's the biggest podcast in the world. I don't know who's up there now, Rogan or Kill Tony and her, but she's in it. She's top 5. However you want to, work the metrics of the situation, she's up there. I don't know if she can carry that entire company the way that he can. I will let you in on a situation, on a conversation, and I only feel comfortable saying this because he's repeated this publicly. But him and I were talking one day, and when we were together, this was right around one of the times he re-upped his contract, because I think he's on his 3rd deal with them now, maybe even 4th. He's been there for a really, really long time. And I don't know. I can't remember what year this was, but you could look it up if you wanted to. But he said to me, he went from being on 4 days a week to 3. It was right around that time. And he said to me, and there was other people in the room too, who were just shooting the shit, just talking radio shit. He said to me, he goes, "Aunt, what am I going to do?" He goes, "I asked for 3 days because it was a lot." He's like, "I'm not going to walk away from this." He goes, "I got all these people working for me." He goes, and I love to do it. He goes, "I love to do it." So he's like, "I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I can do it for, and as long as, people want me to do it, I'm going to do it." And he's still got a big audience. He may not be the Howard Stern of old with a, 80 million, listeners or whatever the hell he had back in the day. It wasn't that much, but he might have a smaller audience now. He's only on 3 days a week. So naturally it's just smaller than it was when it was 5 days a week, but it's still significant. It's still something, it's still a force in the media landscape. If you're Dodge or Ford or Toyota or whatever, and you need to sell cars, that's one of the options, like many of the other national shows that are out there. And when I was talking to him, and again, this is somebody, I want you to picture this for a second. I'm a lowly morning show host, and the greatest radio host of all time is just shooting the shit with me just cause. And we're bullshitting. And he's like, you get it. This is what we do. And I'm like, I can't believe you're putting me in your, like, we should never be we should never be we. But he's like, I love it. And what else am I going to do? And he's like, you get it. And I'm like, yeah, I get making no money. I'm doing this for the love of it. Everybody aggravates me here, the old radio station. And I totally, like, you can see it in the guy. Like, in that moment, I said, this guy's going to do it till he fucking dies behind the microphone. And you look at all the, you look at all the great radio personalities that Rush Limbaugh did it till he was fucking dead. Imus did it till he was practically fucking dead. I mean, these guys retire and they drop dead like 3 months later. This is a strenuous mental thing. It's not a strenuous physical thing doing this job. It's very easy to be old and crotchety doing radio or podcasting. I mean, I've been young and crotchety doing this for a long time, So I just don't think he'd ever walk away from it. What I really want to see is, will he finally take that leap and just do a podcast? Will he finally do what we do here and just put the thing on YouTube and Facebook Live and then load it up onto Spotify when it's done for everybody to listen to in the morning or whenever they want to listen to it? I hope he does. I hope he does it till the end of time, because again, he's the greatest to ever do it. And I'm not just saying that because he was nice to me. It's the truth. Nobody's ever done it at the level he's done it at. Name another radio personality that got a movie made about them. Like, it just doesn't exist. So I hope he continues. But this whole our ability, to take people down, like Howard Stern can't, like, it's just blatantly not true. And I'm not saying it doesn't end. I'm not saying it doesn't come to an end and they don't eventually, but even that, it's like, go back to the Meghan Markle thing. Like, we couldn't say Meghan Markle canceled. They're just not renewing the contract. There's a difference. Canceling implies a premature ending. We made an agreement to do the show for this long, but we're not going to do it. That's a cancellation. There's a difference there. I know this is semantics and words, but words matter. Words make a difference. If they're going to say we can't renew him, that's something else. But that guy literally saved that company. Ask anybody, they will tell you. Even his haters will admit that to you. That company, it is in their best interest, because all they're thinking about right now is exactly what I told you. Can we keep his audience without keeping him? They're not going to shit on him and say he's canceled. They're going to say, we would have loved to have kept Howard. The economics just are no longer there. It's not his fault. It's the landscape. End of story. the company is going to want to do it in a way where if you love that man and you paid them money to hear that man and he goes, they have to present that to you in a way where you'll consider continuing to pay them. Because part of the story too from the Sun was they're trying to figure out, negotiate his, rights to his tapes so they can keep playing his shows. Like they'll keep playing old shows again, because they want to hold on to his audience. If Howard's not going to do live shows anywhere and the only place you could hear Howard is on SiriusXM, then you might consider still paying for it. So that's what they're going to do. I know SiriusXM doesn't want everybody saying they canceled Howard Stern because it's not a good look for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a statement from them in the next day or two. Now, here's the other weird thing. Today, because Howard is off for the whole summer, today he did a live show with Lars Ulrich announcing a new Metallica channel. It was very strange to see him on the day that this cancellation thing was out there. And to my knowledge, he didn't comment on it, that Metallica is getting a new channel and they chose the Howard Stern show to launch that announcement on. And he didn't say anything else about anything else. Now, I also know Howard. He'll finish out his contract. He'll go till, I think his deal ends in December at some point or November. He'll do every show till the bitter end. Because that's just the kind of guy he is. He's an honest guy in that way. If he made a deal with you, he'll see it all the way through. So there may be more to this, but it was really, really strange that he didn't choose to take a second to address what was out there like wildfire. That was a little unsettling to me. I mean, maybe he thought, I'm just going to do my announcement, do what I promised, and get out of there, and I'll address it all when the time comes. But again, I would imagine that SiriusXM wants to put it out there that, hey, those rumors are not true. And, we're obviously working with Howard to continue his deal and whatever. And then if the time comes and they don't do it, then they don't do it. Then they say, at least we gave it a shot, But I do think that, okay, so here's a great question from Rhonda. Rhonda says, why wouldn't he do what you're doing now, Anthony, on YouTube? Again, I had a conversation with him that I'll keep private. But the takeaway from that conversation was he doesn't like being the boss. He doesn't like running things. He runs the show. He's got Gary, he's got people. He's got an assistant he's got like a president of the channel or whatever he calls her. She's, he doesn't like to be the one that has to say no. If anybody's ever run things or been a manager or whatever, it's shitty. It fucking sucks. Everybody hates you. You got to give everybody work. You got to tell people no. It fucking sucks. Nobody likes being a manager, right? Nobody loves doing that part of it. But the on-air stuff, or hey, write this bit, write that bit, or I don't like that bit, or it's easier to do all those things. It's much easier to do those things rather than say, I can't give you a raise, or I need you to work these hours instead of the ones you want to work, or I need you to do this project even though you don't want to do it, all that stuff. So again, from a conversation that I have with him privately, that's not his thing. But it's easy, having said that, it's easy for that to not be your thing when you have another option. It's easy for you to not run your own podcast like we do here when you have somebody that's willing to hand you $100 million for it. You mean you're going to give me $100 million? I could just do my show and you'll take care of all the other bullshit? Okay, great, fine. We'll do it. If that option goes away, I don't know if he'll change his mind. And I hope that he would. The problem is, and this is another thing I will tell you from having just talked to him and just knowing people around him. The guy puts an insane amount of preparation into that show. Like an insane amount of preparation. A lot of his bits and skits are scripted out. He probably wouldn't want me to tell you this, but a lot of that stuff is written out. They plan 30 bits for a show when they know they're only going to get to 4, and they're always carrying things over. He employs a lot of people. He is a sweetheart from that perspective of he just doesn't fire people. Again, he's got, that I know of, at least 8 writers. I think he's got 12. He's got tons of producers and segment producers and all this stuff. It's like, you don't need that anymore. I check in and listen to his show on occasion, and I think to myself, why is he paying 14 fucking people? It's just him bullshitting about the day's news with Robin. I don't know if he could ever get out of the mindset of not putting 1,000,000% into the show. I don't know if he could ever accept the fact that with zero preparation and no writers, tons of people would download his podcast and watch his live streams just to hear him bullshit about the day's news. I don't know if he could ever accept and realize that he could probably employ 5 people that he could pay a decent salary off of the sponsorship dollars that he would make on YouTube or a podcast or whatever. And still be as up to date and on top of the world as he is now with 150 people working for him. I don't know if he'll ever accept that, because in his mind, he has to do all these things. In his mind, he has to have 4 hours of meetings after the show to prepare for the next day's show. And coming from somebody that doesn't like to prepare whatsoever, that's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling to me that he still puts that much of an effort into it. But I think it's all part of it for him. I just think it's all part of it for him. So why? That's my answer, Rhonda. That's my answer as to why. But if he called me up tomorrow and was like, Ant, am I being stupid? Do you think I should do this? I would say, yeah, you're being stupid. Take your 5 best people and go and do your own thing. You'll make the same amount of money. You'll be happy. You can go on whatever the fuck you want, and you'll be just great. You'll be just great. But listen, it's not like this wasn't a long time coming. When he went there at first, he was running 2 channels. He had a full news division, and like an insane news division. When he came to visit me, I had like 6 phone calls the day after he came to visit me. Nobody knew. Then he went and talked about it. And then I had 6 fucking, I go, who's all these fucking people? I get a message. I'm a reporter. I go, it's all his reporters. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, did we make the news or something? No, it was all his people. He had a whole news division. They're gone. He had a whole cable show. That's gone. Then he went to on-demand television. That's gone. So he's been trimming this thing down for a while. But that core radio group has been there. All those producers and writers and, people have been there. And I don't know if he can do without them. I mean, I think he can do without them. I know he can. I just don't know if he can accept that fact. Enough with this crank callers. Oh my God. He still does those phony phone calls. None of them are real. But I think he just likes to employ his guys. I just don't think any of that shit is entertaining. I think he would crush doing this, Rhonda. I think if he realized that the landscape has changed and this is just as good, I hear people send me clips of him all the time. Like he always shits on podcasts and everything like that because he's an old school guy. He's 71 years old. He doesn't get this. He doesn't see the upside of this, that you no longer have anybody in your way. But think about it. A guy that always fought against something, when you release those shackles, it's tough to adjust to that sometimes. I remember if you go and you listen to the early shows, I was still really angry at radio people in the early shows. I still am a little angry at them to this day. You'll hear me slip back into a Meghan Markle rage over some of the old Radio Days stuff. It's weird when you just don't have a boss anymore. But he might be pleased to know that all the algorithm and political correctness out there will fuck you up too. So that's also a part of it. The great Dave Matthews broke up a fight. Who knew this bundle of poetic joy could be such a peacemaker? but he is. I was kind of amazed to see this. I really, really was. And there's this guy out there, Chester Copperpot, which I think was the name of the Penguin. Wasn't Penguin a Copperpot? He's a legend in the Dave Matthews world. Copperpot is a legend because he's just one of those guys that everybody sends him clips of Dave, and he this Copperpot guy, he gets soundboard recordings from the Dave Matthews concerts. How, I don't know. I think he's got a source on the inside. And then people send him like shitty cell phone footage, and the guy edits it all together, and he matches it up with a soundboard recording so that you're watching like a real show. Like, who does that? I love this Copperpot guy. I can't tell you how much great Dave stuff I have consumed on the internet because of Copperpot 5. This guy's amazing. Like, he puts multi-camera shit together, and people just send him stuff like, here, can you, and he takes it, he puts it together. It's great. It's amazing. Well, Dave was doing a concert in Montana, and John Leitner sent Copperpot this video. So credit him for the video. And Dave's up there playing on stage, just strumming his guitar, just doing a tune. Oh, he's doing a song called Pig. And he's looking, if you see here, you can see him just kind of looking at the crowd, and something kind of has captivated his eye. And he gets to the end of a verse, and then he decides to break up a fight here. Take a listen.
Don't throw today. Hey, dudes. Stop. Hey, you guys. What are you doing, man? What are you out of your minds? Good Lord.
I was not just.
If you want to do that, go outside. Don't do it in the crowd. Got some idiots fighting over here. Can we get some people in here to just maybe go do it somewhere else, man? I don't want to play another note while you guys are here. I don't care what he's talking about. I want to play one note if you guys are in here. Not one note. I don't care if you came from Timbuktu to come to this show. Get the fuck out.
Look at Dave getting big, flexing. Fucking Dave flexing. I was stunned to see this. I was stunned to see that. Credit Copperpot 5 for putting it out. Thanks to John Leitner for taking the video, setting the video into Copperpot 5. Look at Dave. That's a big man. All right, now this is a big accusation coming in from Bird. Ant, where were you that night? I was not in Montana. I will tell you that. Also, I'm not one to fight. And also, who fights at a Dave Matthews show? This is why it's so dumbfounding to me. I've never seen a room of more passive hippies than when I go to a fucking Dave Matthews show. I mean, you have more chance of somebody throwing out their back than getting into a fight of any kind. It's so strange and bizarre. I know, because that's why it's so. I never had to see him get this tough to be like, yeah, I'm not going to play another note. Get the fuck out. I'm stunned. I was stunned to see this. Dave Cuckthews. You've got a few fucking guys. Oh, if Meghan Markle was there. Good point. What if Meghan Markle was at a Dave show? Oh my God. What would I do? I would be so miserable. I would be so miserable. Oh my God. I don't know if I could have a good time. I don't know if I could enjoy myself. I never told you guys what happened to Cuddles and I at the last Dave show, and one day I will. I can't tell you right now, but it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so fucking funny though. But I'm just stunned because that's not like the old Grateful Dead. Like, these aren't fighting people. Even if you bumped into somebody and spilt their beer, this is the kind of crowd that they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me buy you another beer. They're not going to be like, not going to get tough about it. But to him to be like, can we get some people? Just the way he said it, like, the fuck are you guys doing? Like, even he was a little stunned in the beginning. Like, what are you guys doing? This is Dave Matthews, you know, right? I'm Dave Matthews. This isn't Metallica up here. This isn't Ozzy. This isn't anger metal. This is fucking Dave Matthews, who is, you know, who's who's fighting at that kind of show. Neil said Ant would be smoking on some edible flower. Yeah, if I saw Meghan Markle at the Dave show, I would look at her and go, try not to put any sprinkles on him, idiot. They're not going to stick to him like they don't stick to the blueberries, you fucking moron. I would definitely throw that line out there. I might mix it up with Harry. Maybe me and Harry would get in a little fist fight, but I'll take that, Ginger. I have no problem with that. I'll fuck a prince up. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm from Queens. You think London boy is going to have a fucking overhand? I don't give a shit if he was in the military or whatever he was in. I will fuck Harry up if it came down to it. In a second, I'll drop that motherfucker. His security, not so much. I'm sure they kick the shit out of me. But him, is that an Aerosmith reference? Are we just putting cuck into band names now, Matt? Is that what's happening? And Neil's jumping right in with 5 cuck blondes. We've lost. I lost the show. I lost it. We've lost. I'm just gonna put the cuck alert up and just sit here and be quiet and put comments on screen because we've lost black-eyed cucks. The cuck pistols. I can't believe I missed that one. Okay. A cuck D cucks is, I don't know if you're going to do better than that. I just don't know if you're going to do better than that. You're right, Miss Justice. Jefferson cuck playing. Elvis Costello. I don't know how I missed the cuck spring before. That's a good one. Go outside if you want to cuck. Yeah. Is this a Paramore reference? Para-cuck? Foo cucksters? Wow, there was a lot. Thanks, Miss Justice. Cuck and the Family Stone. Cold cuck instead of cold play. I get it. John Bon Cuxon. Bruce Cuckstein. Okay. Meat cuck. Wow, I really missed a lot of these, didn't I? Cuck Owens. Van Cucken. Cuck Matthews instead of Matthew. Whatever the other one was, I forget. Bay City Cocksters is good. I'd like a t-shirt with Bay City Cocksters on it. Cucks Edition. Wow, there really was a lot. Creedence Cuckwater Revival. I apologize. I was on my Dave Matthews soapbox, missing all these great. The Rolling Cucks. Sly and the Family Cuck. What's amazing is there's more than one way to do it for each band, is what I'm finding fascinating about this whole thing. The Cuck Street Boys is good. Cuck Street Boys is really good. Dire Cucks, Lead Cuck, 9 Inch Cucks. There you go. Cucktalica is good. Run DM Cuck. Iron Cuck Maiden. Cucklick Enemy. Oh, the Tragically Cuck. Yes, a Cuck's Edition, I think might have been a repeat, but Cuck Against the Machine. There we go. Lim Cucks It. Okay. All right. Cuck 182. There we go. Okay. Did I get to all of them? I feel like I might have missed one or two. Throw them back out there if I did. Oh, boy. Let me see here. Michael Jack Cuck. The Cuck Tones. Cucks Thugs in Harmony. Bone Cucks in Harmony. Yeah, you can just slide that cuck word around and it'll be all good. It still works. Cuck Sabbath, Cucks to Men, Snoop Cuck, the Black Cucks instead of the Black Keys. I got it. Tupac instead of Tupac. The Cuck Stripes. 2 Live Cuck. If somebody's tuning into this podcast right now, they're going, I don't get it. The audience entertains the host? Is that what happens on this show? I thought it was supposed to be the other way around. I was listening to this podcast the other day. It was so strange. The audience says all the funny lines, and the host just sits there and laughs like an idiot. Usually it goes the other way around. All right. I think we'll end it on 2 live cock unless somebody else has something better. But that's all I got on the whole day. That's your Wednesday. Heavy cucking the boys. I miss Heavy D. Those are good times. Keep on cucking in the free world. Neil Cuck. Neil Cuck Young. What else? Be funny if I contributed one, wouldn't it? Pearl Cuck. Is that good? Cuckvana. That sounds like Husqvarna. All right, outro music, please. All right, Cuck Cube. Yeah. Never thought Cuck Cube would come out of NWA the way he did, but he did. Blue Cuckold. That's good. Let's end on Blue Cuckold. Let's end there. Pink Cuck. The dude hates the cuckles. Dude, man, I hate the fucking cuckles. All right. Appreciate that all. You guys can keep doing it in the comments. I will keep reading it and I will keep laughing at it. We're back on Friday. Got another big show for you. Before, I hate to say this, but we are going to go on a vacation here in August. So I'll give you all the details coming up. But we do have a few more shows left before then, including Friday's show, which I think we got another game time thing coming up with Frankie and Aaron C. So that'll be a good time. We'll see if we get a recap from J Sabs on the whole Montauk birthday thing. J Sabs likes to celebrate her whole birthday month. So that is that. Until I see you guys on Friday, enjoy your Thirsty Thursday. See you soon.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.